Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel Beyond Vietnamese, and this channel is going to be basically sharing my experience on learning Vietnamese language, on how I see the culture, just because I live with Vietnamese family because my fiancée is Vietnamese. Even though she was born here in Europe, still is like considered Vietnamese, right? And a month ago, our baby was born, so she is a con lai, which means a mixed baby in Vietnamese. And I definitely want to speak with her in Vietnamese so she will not actually forget where she comes from and that part of her culture is Asian, it's Vietnamese. So we are, because we live in the family where we have all these tradition like the Tet, or we do like the new moons every time there is a full moon. We just have the incense, we do some offerings to the altars, and yeah, we cook Vietnamese foods, we eat Vietnamese foods here, and we are planning to go to Vietnam when she's gonna be like a year old, just because right now there's a lot of checkups, health checkups. We have to go to the doctor, and they're quite often. So otherwise, I would already be going to Vietnam with them. We wanted to go to Vietnam before, but COVID came and we couldn't go. So yeah, I've never been in Vietnam. My fiance is Vietnamese, so I live already in her family since 2018. And yeah, I'm loving it. It's, before I was really passionate about Asian culture anyway, since I was like 5 years old. I was the only kid at school or in the family actually that wanted to do martial arts instead of playing football or hockey, because it's very popular here. And yeah, I have no idea where it comes from. Like I studied books on yoga, martial arts, philosophy. So when I was like 6 years old, I started doing judo, then I did karate, because I wanted to be like closer to the Asian culture. And I thought that, hey, at least martial arts I can do. And then I started doing Chinese martial arts, and then I even went to United States, lived 10 years in New York City, where I thought that I will be meeting a lot of Asian girls, and making sure that I am inside Chinese or Asian communities. But I kind of look in Western countries, the mentality of Asian people is a little bit different than what it is in Asia. And I actually find out when in 2013 I went for the first time to Hong Kong, and then the first time to China, and then first time to Taiwan. I spent like 3 months traveling all over these countries, and I see the differences. And sometimes I was like, oh, I wish I could go and live in these countries in Asia instead of in the United States. Or at least, why didn't I live in the United States for only 5 years and then live the rest of the another years in Asian countries? So yeah, basically in 2018, I already had set up martial arts studio, and my fiance, actually at that time, she was just basically a student who wanted to study with me. And yeah, we fell in love with each other, and I started learning a little bit Vietnamese, so when I meet the parents I can say something. But we got busy, we did so many things, training, business, online business, travel, so I really had no time to study Vietnamese for real. So sometimes you say you hear this word, you're like, what is it? Then you start to realizing that you can use these words and you kind of understand, but it is not like study. But since our baby daughter May was born, I am now into it. I really want to speak Vietnamese. Anh muốn nói tiếng Việt, because I really want to make sure that our baby is going to speak that language, going to understand that language, so she can understand the culture where basically, you know, her roots are actually Vietnamese and half Czech because I'm Czech. And also I want to speak to her in English and Czech, so she's gonna be learning actually 3 languages. This is kind of crazy, I know. Maybe some people will say, oh my God, Brad, you are going to be too strict for the baby. 3 languages is too much. But you know what? I kind of feel that when the babies are born till about 7 years of age, they are more than a sponge. They really can learn so many things. And yeah, I wanna basically do this. So this channel is basically going to be a journey, like a document or journal. So maybe you can see how our baby grows, how she learns language. Maybe I also want to give you some tips, what I learned about Vietnamese language or culture. And also when we go to Vietnam, I will definitely show you around because I love travel, I love food, especially Vietnamese food. It is, I think, the best food in the world. And yeah, so guys, if you want to follow my journey, see, you know, if it's possible to teach a small kid 3 languages, but mostly I really want her to understand Vietnamese and English. And because she's gonna go to school later on, to the kindergarten, she will learn it automatically. My parents are Czech, they don't know any English, they don't know any Vietnamese for sure, so they're gonna speak to her in Czech only. So I think it's gonna be natural for her to pick it up normally. But like the Vietnamese and English, I think is going to be cool. So guys, if you really want to see this journey, make sure you hit the subscribe button and yeah, press the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new video, new content that I will be putting on this channel, which is called Beyond Vietnamese. And I will see you later.